A fired-up President Joe Biden telling America that his memory, it's fine. He's pushing back against several lines in the Department of Justice special counsel report looking into his handling of classified documents. Let's head to the White House now, where President Biden spoke to the nation, took questions from reporters in prime time, angry at times and adamant he didn't willfully keep or share classified documents, sternly adding that remarks about his memory had no place in that report. The special counsel concluding the year-long investigation by not recommending charges for President Biden. Evan Lambert joins us now with the latest. Evan, what more do we know about why the president made those comments after that report was released yesterday?
Hey, Markie, NewsNation has learned that part of the reason that President Biden went on offense here at the White House last night is because he and the White House were upset about how the special counsel report said that he could not remember when his son Beau died. He addressed that emotionally. Listen.
Let me tell you something. Some of you have commented. I wear, since the day he died, every single day, the rosary he got from Our Lady of... Every Memorial Day, we hold a service remembering him, attended by friends and family and the people who loved him. I don't need anyone to remind me when he passed away or passed away. I've seen the headlines since the report was released about my willful retention of documents. These assertions are not only misleading, they're just plain wrong. On page 215 of the report of the special counsel found the exact opposite. Here's what he wrote. There is, in fact, a shortage of evidence.
But President Biden said overall he was pleased with the conclusion of the report that criminal charges were not warranted. Here is what prosecutors did say, though. Quote, our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency. These materials included marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan and notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwritten entries about issues of national security. Investigators saying they found that classified material in garages, offices, and the basement den of the president's Wilmington home. But almost as damaging, at least politically, investigators' description of Mr. Biden, quote, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. And even last night, following a question and answer session with reporters, President Biden confused the names of the presidents of Mexico and Egypt.
The president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate.
On the special counsel report, former President Trump, of course, is also reacting, saying in a statement, quote, this has now proven to be a two-tiered system of justice and unconstitutional selective prosecution. Deranged Jack Smith should drop this case immediately. Election interference. It is important to note that even the special counsel in his report did distinguish between the Biden and Trump documents cases, pointing out that according to the indictment, President Trump, after being asked for documents several times, did not return them and then is accused of directing people to cover it up. Markie?
Yeah, certainly a damning report for the president and for the White House yesterday. Evan Lambert, thanks so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.